Hi, it's Mr. Smith, and this is what my voice sounds like right now. But I'm gonna try to do a video on your syllabus, just because it's a little different than the other one I have. So let's see if I can get through this here, okay? So first of all, this is contemporary math, 1332. You can see this is my contact information. Notice my first name is Scott, which has one T, and that's actually my nickname, 1T. So you can call me Mr. Smith or 1T. I don't mind if you call me Scott. I'm pretty easy about this. Most people call me Mr. Smith or 1T. This is a phone number where you can reach me if you want to have a conversation. For most email or communications, email works very well. This goes directly to my phone, so I normally see them right away. And I'm pretty good about getting back in a pretty timely manner. This is an online course, so we'll have office hours online. And actually, the way that I do it with the online courses is just by appointment, because I found that when I had a certain time each week, a lot of students couldn't come at that time. So please do not hesitate to contact me, and we can figure out a time to meet for any kind of help online. And in the first week or so, I'll probably have one where all students are welcome. But again, it's hard to get people to fit into people's schedules. So if you need information, often you can go to the Information Central for general information. You can try asking me, and if I can help, I will. Let's see, so we said this is contemporary math. Our section number is 22011, and so that's what makes our class different from all the other 1332 classes. Let's see, notice here, excuse me, the certification date is the 29th. We'll talk more about that later, January 29th. And the last day to withdraw from a class, if you need to withdraw from this class, is April the 12th. But just make sure you go about it the right way. You want to talk to your success coach. I hope that you'll talk to me. You know, you don't want to waste your time if at all possible. You want to get through the course, but if you do need to drop, you just want to make sure that you do it the correct way. Sometimes students will just stop showing up, and they come another couple semesters later on, and things have changed, but they find they're on financial probation or academic probation. So I don't want to see that happen to you. So just make sure you do it the right way if you do need to drop. You can read through the course description, student learning outcomes, Texas core objectives. These are things that as a college that we're trying to help students to improve, areas to improve. So you should look through all of those if you haven't seen them before. So as far as course materials, when you sign up for classes, normally the materials are included with the course. In our case, it's this textbook, which is included as part of a subscription to MyLab Math, which is basically an online program where we're going to be doing all the work, and it also has a electronic copy of the book. And so the only thing I would say is in the past, people would opt out because they thought, or sometimes they could get a better deal. It's really a great deal the way it's currently set up, and if you opt out, normally it just leads to a lot of problems and it won't save you money. So I really highly recommend that you don't consider opting out. If you have already, you might want to contact the bookstore and let them know that you no longer feel that way. Notice it says to begin working in MyLab Math, go to the homepage in eCampus, which is also called Brightspace. Click on the MyLab Math link, then click on one of the My Lab Math links and follow the on-screen instructions. And I have a video for My Math Lab, so if you haven't used it before, I highly encourage you to watch the video. Even if you have, you may find some things in there that you didn't know. And it's just important, if you want to get off to a great start, that you know exactly how to begin. In this course, we will use a calculator. And this TI-30XS multi-view calculator is highly recommended, especially when we get into the financial formulas where you have fractions within fractions. You want to have a calculator that does that well. And so if you do, then that's great. But in other words, if you already can do that on a calculator with no problem, then great. Otherwise, this is a really great calculator that can make a real difference. Highly recommended. So here's a summary of the graded work. You can see homework is 15%, quizzes are 10%, tests are 75%. Notice there's 5 tests and there is no final. So the week of finals, you just take your 5th test. They're each worth 15%. The letter grades are as indicated here. I do want to say, actually, that's all I need to say. I was thinking of a different course. Okay, so let's look at the graded work. So notice it says homework will be assigned in My Lab Math to practice the material learned in each section of the textbook. A great feature of My Lab Math is that you'll get immediate feedback for each problem. If you get a wrong answer, you'll usually have access to a detailed solution to the problem. On the other hand, in order to learn the material well, it's highly recommended that you work out all work on paper. In fact, I've found that for me and for most students, writing things out has a way of helps you to learn the material. You know, seeing, hearing, writing, these are all ways that our brain works to help us learn things. But the other thing is you can look back on, well, first of all, as you're doing your work, you can note problems that you had some difficulty with. You can make comments or questions, maybe make a note of some questions you have. And then later on when you take quizzes, which cover maybe 3 or 4 sections, before you go over those or do those quizzes, you may want to go back and look at your homework and just kind of review the topics. So it's a really nice way that you can go back, not just for quizzes, but also for tests. And so again, I highly recommend that, and I have seen it make a big difference for students. You will have quizzes, and basically if you find that you're not doing well on the quizzes, that's an indication that you're not prepared for the test. You're not learning the material. And so if you do well on the quizzes, then you know that you are ready. You have 60 minutes to take the quizzes normally, and the quizzes are 10% of your grade. If you take it 2 times, I take your higher grade. I think that's about all to say about that. Tests, again, there's 5 points. They're each worth 100 points. I do want you to notice that tests are going to be online and proctored using a program within My Lab Math. It's the Lockdown Browser and Respondus Monitor. So I will give you detailed instructions before the first test, but you'll notice a webcam is required. So there's usually tablets don't normally work for this. So alternatively, if you can't do it at home or somewhere else, you can arrange to take each test at one of the Dallas College campuses. So we'll talk more about that later, but just be aware of that. But another thing I want to point out that's very important here, for students having an average of 80% or better on the homework, I will drop your lowest test score at the end of the course. All students must take test 5 during finals week. So I just want to say that there's never a 100% guarantee But normally students that do 80% or better on the homework tend to pass the course. But keep in mind you still need to study for tests and things like that. But if you want to give yourself the best chance to pass the course, that would be where I would start. Do your homework at least 80% or better. In fact, I've found that a lot of times students are in the 90s, so that's really good. Late homework policy, basically any assignments that are done late, you get a 25% deduction. That's for quizzes and homework. And that's only up until the day that the test is taken. Once a test has been taken, you can't go back. So it's important that you're doing homework throughout the course. Sometimes students don't want to do homework and then they realize later on they're not going to pass and they want to go back. You can't do that. You need to do the homework throughout the course. If you do miss a test for some reason, it's really important that you contact me right away if it's for a good reason, and we can discuss it, and I may allow you to take it, just depending on the circumstances. Instructor-student communication, really important in an online course. It's one thing I noted in my introduction video. So just make sure you're using your student email. It starts with an E and then your student ID, and make sure you're monitoring it. And so that way when I'm sending out messages, you're getting those messages, not just me, but other instructors as well. And the last thing I would just say again is, in this area, is please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll do everything I can to help you out. And I appreciate students that care enough to ask the questions that they have. So please don't hesitate to do that. Okay, attendance and participation. So basically, to be certified as attending or participating in this course, since you're not actually attending, students must enroll into MyLab Math and complete the homework for sections 1.1 through 1.3 and quiz 1 by Sunday, January 28th, with an average score of 70%. So this is how you show me that you intend to attend. And basically this is just a minimal notice to be on schedule in the course. You should complete the assignments up to homework 5.6 by this date. So please make sure that you at least take care of that minimum. Sometimes students have a slow start for some reason, and this is the minimum that I need you to do, but still make every effort to be on schedule. It's generally not a good idea to fall behind. You want to get off to a great start. Institutional policies, if you haven't read those, you should make sure you look those over. And it just talks about dropping classes and stuff like that. That's pretty much all I have to say here, other than I do want to just show you the schedule. So this is something you might want to have available handy as you're doing homework. Notice it tells you exactly what you're going to have to do the first week. I will make announcements each week to remind you of what's due, and if there's anything I need to mention along with that, anything important that comes up. But you're going to have it in the syllabus. And so you can see in the first week 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 homework, and quiz 1. Those are the things that are due by Sunday, 1/21. In fact, you can see most of your assignments are due on Sundays. Now, please don't wait till Sunday. If you can, it's always much better to spread it out throughout the week. There may be times when you can get it done in a day, but there's going to be other times where you're going to go, uh-oh, this is a lot harder than I thought. So try not to do that to yourself. You can see our first test has a due date of Saturday, February 3rd. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say. If you have any questions, just contact me. I'm really sorry if it was hard to understand, but hopefully you got what you needed out of the video. Thanks. I hope have a great semester with you guys.